I've joined the Rawvolution at NutriRaw because I know that not all raw food is created equal. I'm passionate about feeding dogs as nature intended. After all, you are what you eat, and so is your dog. At NutriRaw, there are no compromises, no confusion, just real raw food made with integrity and a conscience, offering 100% transparency, supporting British farmers, and only using the highest welfare assured ingredients is so important. They're a certified B Corp and reduce their carbon footprint by utilizing solar power and planting trees. They only use completely plastic-free packaging that's home compostable. Prudence and Mr. Binks are simply loving their nutrient-dense and balanced recipes. So try NatuRaw today. Just go to naturaw.co.uk and grab 20% off your first purchase with my code AnnaWebb20. Join the Rawvolution and feed exceptional raw food. Hello, I'm Anna Webb, and welcome to this week's episode of A Dog's Life. We're crossing the pond to speak to the CEO of a company called NutriFusion. And as ever, this episode is powered by Pantanol. William Grand, welcome to A Dog's Life.
Thank you. Delighted to be here.
Well, I'm so excited because, I love meeting new people and new brands. And we're talking about your own brand because you are the CEO of NutriFusion, which is a very interesting product to me, being a canine nutritionist, William.
It is a fascinating product, and I hope by the end of the podcast, people appreciate the uniqueness of it.
So explain a little bit more what it is and why you are focusing on pets.
Okay, we started the company in 2008, and essentially we found a methodology where we could take plant-based products such as fruits and vegetables, stabilize the nutrition so it did not oxidize and dissipate over time, and then concentrate it into a much lower volume, delivering a high amount of nutritional value in a powder form. And then we create different formulas depending upon the application. So, for example, we have pet formulas, principally dogs, and we have human formulas. What you give a human, you would not give to a dog because of the different nutritional requirements. So we're very specific in how we blend and develop the products and the amount of nutrients that is put in each particular blend.
That's so interesting. So, is this with a view, William, to add health, I guess is a quick way of putting it, into your dog's bowl?
Yeah, well, a couple of things there. We are technically a ingredient that we sell our ingredient to pet food companies, food processors, beverage companies, and supplement companies or nutraceuticals. Each has its own particular application.
Okay, so but with dogs in the main, so you're saying you can't, like a pet parent like myself, I couldn't just go and buy it as a supplement that's branded NutriFusion.
That's correct. What you would have to find is a company in the UK that is adding our ingredient into their pet food, and we do that for very specific reasons. First of all, we need to control the use of our ingredient because a very, very, very small amount will provide a lot of nutritional value. And if the UK is typical to what happens in the US, everybody figures, well, I got a headache. Rather than take one aspirin, I'll take two or three aspirin. That would be very detrimental to the health of the dog with our product, because if they put too much in it, it is counterproductive to the animal's health. So we do not sell our product into the consumer market as such, but we make it available through different pet companies.
I see. And would this mainly be in processed food to add some nutritional value there? Or are you aiming more at, the fresh market? So perhaps a raw food manufacturer could use your blend to add that 10 to 5% of botanicals that's recommended for a dog to consume at any one time.
The answer is we can make the product available into the pet food industry. They will know how to control it in the levels. A typical serving is addition of our product into a pet blend is typically less than 1% of the total value. So if this is why we're careful, because if somebody says, well, I'm going to double or triple it up, again, it would not be good for the pet because of the high level of concentration.
I've had a look at the ingredients myself, obviously, on the website, and it's full of fabulous, antioxidants from fruits and vegetables that, technically would take up quite a lot of land. Or am I going off on a side issue here? I mean, could your blend help with climate change by providing a very concentrated source of vitamins like vitamin C, for example?
That's a good and interesting question. Let's talk climate change for a minute. Obviously, it's impacting the whole world, but it's also impacting the fruit and vegetable market and the nutrition that's coming from fruits and vegetables. There is a study done in the UK, went from, I think, if my memory serves me correct, from 1937 to 1987. And they found that due to pesticides and fertilizers, the amount of nutritional value in different fruits and vegetables declined about 47%.
Gosh.
It, it's shocking. So people and pets are not getting what they think they are. If they're saying, well, we got the equivalent of, one serving of broccoli, which is giving you whatever the nutrients that you want to pick on it. They did an update on that. In 87, in the earlier part of the 20s, 2020. And then there was another short update, and the decline in nutritional value continues to decrease. So it's a real conundrum for pet owners and humans that are trying to get sufficient fruits and vegetables. And with that, our product actually fills a very nice um, purpose, because we can, through our process, we can adjust the amount of nutrition going in. So for, let's say, uh, on the human side, 225 milligrams will give you 50% of the daily value. It's different for pets. So I'm just going to pick on the human side at this point. But we can hit the exact amount of nutrition day in, day out. So when we say you're getting 50% daily value of vitamin A, C, D, E, K, and a bunch of the B's, we can hit that every time. So we really we don't replace fresh fruits and vegetables, but what we can do is very easily enhance the nutritional value that would be going into different products, which can be kibble for one, or the dry dog food, or fresh as well, which we sell into both markets.
Oh gosh, that's so interesting. Well, I didn't realize that the nutritional value of fruit and vegetables was so depleted, to be honest with you, William. That's a real sobering thought. But the important thing about what I've seen on your website, certainly, is that there's no hidden saccharins or anything in this, which obviously is not good at all for our pets, or arguably not so great for people. And I know sometimes, you get these drinks and everything, and then you really analyze the ingredients and you think, hang on a minute, what's that? But that doesn't happen with you, does it?
No, and that's actually a good point, which opens up some other areas as well. We carry no synthetics, no excipients, no harmful chemicals. We are basically about as clean as you can get, offering the nutritional value from fruits and vegetables. One of the areas that we're very good at is we have no synthetics in our product at all. We're not giving you synthetic vitamin A, C, D, E, and so on. What you are getting is the nutrition from the plants themselves, which makes it far, far superior, because synthetics are basically man-made and it's a chemical. And what they offer into the pet world is really a distortion, and it's not a healthy alternative to fresh fruits and vegetables, that the pets could normally eat.
Yes, no, it's true. Certainly, with many of the kibble brands, there's so much synthetic, uh, additives in there, and they're making up for, a lack of nutrition, really, basically, in these foods. I will stick my neck out and say that. Certainly, something I recommend is obviously, fresh whole into the bowl. But indeed, with this depletion aspect, because of course, dogs are carnivores. So they're not pre-programmed to eat like maybe we could, like a whole fruit bowl in one go. That's something a human could do. But for a dog, that would certainly distort their microbiome for a few days, I think. So they do need meat. They need their 10, proteins, their key amino acids to thrive, as a dog, because they are a dog.
Quite correct. Dogs need protein, and but they also need vitamins, and the vitamins are coming from um, plant-based sources, and that's very important, as opposed to synthetic man-made chemicals.
Yeah. And, it's these minerals and vitamins that, arguably would have come through the soil, when your dog nibbles at some nice fresh green grass, they love doing that, and that's got a lot of phytonutrients in it, but it's not going to have what it had in it, at the beginning of the century, perhaps, because it's all about the soil, isn't it, at the end of the day?
Absolutely correct. And that's why I gave you that statistic about the decline in the nutritional value, because a lot of it is strictly due to the soil.
Yeah, yeah, the soil. No, I know. Oh my gosh, William. So adding NutriFusion into, through a food, what would the aims of this be health wise, William?
Uh, well, there's a couple of things. Let's talk about a term that's very dominant now in the United States, which is ultra processed foods, and it's a very, very unhealthy position to be in for the American public, and also for the pets, because there is also ultra processed pet food, and principally in the dry kibble category. Um, and it also has the other unfortunate disbenefit, that if they're eating ultra processed foods, they're not getting the fruits and vegetables that they need. So you get double whammy. They're eating something that people or pets should not be eating. And then at the same time, they're not getting the nutrition from fruits and vegetables that they should be. In the pet area, there is a high reliance on synthetic and artificial ingredients, and oils and chemicals that are processed and man-made. The advantage is especially as we went through the 50s, 60s, 70s, and into the early 2000s, it was a low-cost alternative and an easy way to feed pets. But the long-term health impact on them has not been anywhere near as healthy as it was perceived. When I'm saying that, I'm also really saying the rules of the game are not much different between pets and humans. So if you're eating ultra processed foods, you're having the same potential health issues that the pets get from eating overly processed foods.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, look, there's that mantra. It's you are what you eat, and so is your dog.
Absolutely.
No, amazing. And, and the health benefits, we spoke about broccoli just a second ago, and there's, we can't obviously make any claims, but there are properties in broccoli, if it's a good bit of broccoli, I guess, that can help, boost the immune system and fend off disease, and keep inflammation, which is the root of all disease, at bay. So we're all victims, of inflammation. It's the big bad guy, isn't it, William?
And yes, you actually led right into where I was headed with some of my comments. Inflammation is it occurs naturally in the dogs and pets or horses. It doesn't matter. It also occurs naturally in the human body. So there are many things that will help it and many things that will hinder it. What hinders it is eating ultra processed foods, particularly bad. In the United States, they put sugar in just about everything they can because A, it's addictive, and B, it satisfies the sweet tooth and the taste buds of humans. It's somewhat similar to the pet, but sugar is probably not as anywhere near as dominant as it is in the human foods. But you've got the synthetic factor, you've got salts and carbs that can be avoided, and they should be focusing more on the health aspect of what they're serving their pets.
Well, this is it. I mean, complex carbs. I mean, it's starch, really. And of course, starch turns to sugar. Dogs don't eat complex carbs, do they?
They should not. Their diet should be pretty simple, but uh, a typical a typical kibble or dry dog food contains up to 40 ingredients.
Yeah.
And you can imagine how many of those are there to stabilize, to adjust the taste, to make it smell better, to try to give it some nutritional values by using synthetics, which don't work compared to plant-based nutrition. And it's around and around we go. And the typical consumer has no idea the details of what they're serving their pet and the whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. And it's very hard to figure it out because of the claims that a lot of the pet food companies make. You know that they do the front of the bag or box. They make claims that it does ABC, but they leave off D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, and so on, with all the bad things that they should be avoiding. So it's very good marketing. So you have to be able to go and look at the ingredient deck on the back of the bag, and if they publish it, the nutritional value. So what they're getting in vitamin A, C, D, and so on, and minerals as well. All of our uh, pet foods contain a good amount of minerals as well from plants.
From plants. Yeah, no, I get that. But, I must just say at this point, I must say I'm not a mad fan of dogs being vegan. You know, we can take the plant thing, I think, a bit too far where dogs are concerned. I'm a vegetarian myself, but I wouldn't make my dogs vegetarian, and definitely not my cat, because he would die.
Yeah. Yes, and cats in particular, you have to be very careful. So you're quite right. We had two Old English sheepdogs, beautiful dogs, and we went into a store and came out, and they had eaten a flat of strawberries, a big flat of strawberries that were going to be used for strawberry jam over the weekend. And then another time we went into a restaurant and grabbed something quickly, and we came out and they had eaten two great big steaks. So, they need both. They need both the uh, protein and the advantage of meat, and they also need the nutrition that's coming out of plants.
Yes, no, absolutely. When it's pure, because it's to balance, hopefully that inflammation in the body by offering a counterbalance, to stop those free radicals from taking hold, right?
Yes, you know your stuff. Congratulations. So we've got oxidative stress and free radicals. And oxidative stress is found in everybody and every pet. And it's increased or decreased depending upon a whole variety of things. Diet, smoking, if you're a smoker, and you're human, obviously dogs aren't going to do it. Fast foods, stress, excessive exercise or not enough exercise, or can both impact it. So when you've got oxidative stress occurring in your body, it creates free radicals. The free radicals are basically a cell in your body, and they over time will congregate into specific areas. And if they're not dealt with, will help to create chronic diseases. And it's really quite dangerous. Chronic diseases, again, I'm going to give you the human side, include diabetes, heart disease, arthritis, cancers, asthma, Parkinson's, dementia, hepatitis. All of these have been tied into oxidative stress and the free radicals that congregate in your body and are not dealt with. And the only way you deal with free radicals is by eating fruits and vegetables, because it generates a spare electron and balances the cell in the body out. So it helps to neutralize the effect of inflammation and oxidative stress. That's a very, 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 very fast explanation for a very complicated area, but it's certainly one that people can go to the internet and do a search on those three words and come up with some very good information.
No, it's good actually. I mean, something I'm very worried about, is anesthetic. I try and avoid that like the plague, basically, with my dogs, So, I do my best to keep their teeth clean through diet and chewing activity, because that's the thing about an anesthetic, it's the oxidative stress. So, yeah, I just thought I'd add that. It's something you're not actually told about. Anesthetics on dogs should be done very thoughtfully, and cats, obviously, and really keep them to a minimum. Would you agree on that, William?
100%. Absolutely correct.
Sometimes the vet doesn't know what to say to me when I say about oxidative stress. There's silence, because there's nothing they can really say, back. So kind of often ends the conversation, actually.
Yeah, I congratulate you. You know your material well, and the fact that you're aware of oxidative stress and free radicals is truly excellent, and I congratulate you.
Oh, well, thank you, William. No need to do that. I mean, yeah, I hope that, my pets are kept, as free radical free as I can. I do try very hard, as I love them so much. And I think this is the driver here, isn't it, really, for NutriFusion? It's the love of dogs, really. I mean, can I ask, is your product in any supplements for cats or not at all? Because they are obligate carnivores, aren't they? So they can get everything, I think, from only meat, but maybe not.
It's somewhat work in progress. It's in the labs, but we have not really come out with anything that we're really satisfied on. But they are a very, for lack of a better word, finicky animal that we really have to be careful with what put in the food, so we do not provide them with a vitamin, for example, that are not suitable for cats. Dogs are a little bit easier than, actually quite a bit easier than cats in terms of diet and nutrition.
Yes, I mean, dogs can eat anything, really, can't they? I mean, they'll happily eat that whole bar of expensive chocolate, and a few hours later, wrapping and all, and they're in the vets, you
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
on a drip. They're natural born scavengers, where I think cats, you're right, the finicky thing comes from them being real hunters. They think, do you know what? Yeah, I don't want that mouse. I want that one. you
Yeah.
know? So, yes, I agree on that front, definitely.
As I said, we're still working on what we feel will be a safe and suitable product for cats.
Yeah, because I mean the thing is with cats, they become addicted, don't they, to whatever you fed them up to 6 months. You have a window, well, generically, I mean, every cat is, of course, an individual, but there's that 6 month window. But after that, after 6 months, whatever that cat has ate, that's pretty much what they're going to eat. I mean, they are very difficult to switch from a ultra processed diet to a fresh whole diet. Dogs, on the other hand, I mean, my dog, unfortunately, ate I get so cross with humans. A whole bag of it. So I won't. Well, I can name the brand. Actually, it was a brand of crisps that some human had left in the park and scattered on the grass. To my horror, it was these very orange-colored crisps. Right, they're a specific brand that are known for being very orange. I would never eat them myself. Anyway, for days later, Prudence, my miniature bull terrier, her poops are orange, so you think, what on earth was in there? The coloring, absolutely dreadful. I'm not happy about it at all, but I mean, she's still alive. But orange, like radioactive colored poop, from
Mm.
eating these particular crisps. I think you call them chips in the States.
Yeah, and were the crisps, was it artificial synthetic dyes, or was it plant-based dyes? I would expect probably synthetic.
100% synthetic. I won't name the brand, but
Uh,
yeah, I mean, I'd never eat them ever.
oh yeah, good,
Yes,
good for
good.
you.
Yeah, I know. I'm relatively good with eating, the right things.
Hey, Anna.
Hey, Mike.
So we've just finished Billy's first 60 days of Antinol, and wow, what a difference.
Really? Oh my gosh, what have you noticed?
Well, he's shiner. He's much more energetic. Not that he wasn't beforehand, but you can see the difference. But remember, I told you he used to have that little limp in his back left paw that he'd hurt himself when he was a pup. He
Yes,
doesn't seem
yes.
to do that much anymore.
What, the hop, skip, and the jump?
Yeah, yeah. So it's like his joints are a bit better. And we actually had friends around this weekend who'd noticed that there was something good about Billy. And I was telling them about Antinol, and they said, "Oh, what's in it?" I said, "Well, green lip mussel." And they said, "What's that?" And I go, "Oh, well, I don't know. I'll have to ask Anna," as I always do. So
Well,
for next time, what should I say? What's so great
well,
about green lip mussel?
Well, green-lip mussel, it comes from New Zealand. It's the only place that green-lip mussels live. And what's great about the green-lip mussel is that it is what's known as a broad spectrum source of omega-3. And the reason dogs need to take omega-3 is that their bodies don't make it themselves. So unless they're getting it through their diet, which can be omega-6 heavy. And it's very important to have a balance between omega-6 and omega-3. So it's normally through supplements that omega-3 is given. And green lip mussel is unique in its having everything from EPA, DHA, and ETA. So all the main omega-3s.
And how about Binks and Prudence? They must be much better as well.
Yeah, well, they've been on it for over a year, and they've been on green lip mussel forever since I've had them. So Prue's 10 now. So she's had green lip mussel since the first day I brought her home, to be honest, but not Antinol. And I only wish I'd discovered Antinol earlier. I really honestly mean that, because it's an oil rather than a powder. So its bioavailability, that means, its effectivity to get absorbed quickly and efficiently by the body is greater.
So people listening now and they want to discover Antinol for themselves, where do they go?
Well, all you have to do is go to Antinol, ANTINOL.co.uk, and then type in Anna Webb and get your special discount. Gosh, I'm just wondering, how we can get NutriFusion in the UK, because the market here is growing hugely. It might be bigger than America's market at the rate it's going. Apparently, there's 15.5 million dogs living in the UK at the moment. Yeah.
Well, we have not made any steps forward with selling our product into the UK for the pet market. We actually are selling some into the human side, but not in the pet side. Strategically, we're not a big company, but we're a very busy company. So we have a lot of companies contacting us wanting to look at our product, and we go to the low hanging fruit first, meaning that we take what people want to add into their product and get them up and running as quickly as we can. And when we hit some companies that there's a huge amount of development work. We have a very, very, very large pet food company that we've been working with for probably 8 to 10 years now. And we're just now, probably, if all goes well, it'll be launched in 2027. So the gestation period for large companies is very long, and we'd love to talk to them and work with them, but that sweet spot is small, medium, and large pet companies would work very well for us, and exclude out the large CPG companies.
Yes. Well, small firms, often care more, family run firms, but even, to offer NutriFusion as a supplement, like to put a little bit of it into a capsule could be a good idea maybe as well.
Yes, that would work, as long as it was, the amounts were worked carefully.
Yes. So interesting. I know. Gosh, I wish, the human version was here in the UK, talking on a selfish level. No, so William, gosh, so tell me, do you have any dogs yourself now?
Currently, we have no dogs. We have had many, many dogs over the last 40, 50 years. And at the height, we had 4 dogs. If we had have gotten one more where we were living, we would have had to get a kennel license to have a 5th dog. So we stopped there. But we were mostly at that point getting shelter dogs, and it worked out really well. Anyways, our last shelter dog died probably 4 or 5 years ago, but with travel and not being around that much, we felt it would not be to the benefit of the dog, and it would be selfish for us to have a dog like that and then continually move it into a kennel or off with family or so on. So we have not replaced after the last one passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry about that, but it's so good to adopt, because there's so many dogs needing a home. That's something I do care quite a lot about, but I bet the home feels empty, doesn't it, William, without a dog?
Yeah, we talk about it, and we always come back to the same thing. When we get out of the travel mode and business gets easier, then we can look at it. But right now, we have elected not to add another complexity into our life.
I know you mentioned Old English Sheepdogs earlier. The funny thing was, I don't know if you know the brand of paint called Dulux. Does that ring a bell for you?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, okay. You maybe Google it, right? Because you'll love it. So Dulux, this paint brand, has been around forever. It's a very good brand of paint, particularly because they use an Old English Sheepdog to be like their mascot. Their brand ambassador is an Old English Sheepdog. And they've recently brought it. So I went to this big celebration of the 65th anniversary of the Dulux dog, and it was just absolutely brilliant. Just a celebration of, a dog, really. And that dog got the job because way back in the 60s, the main MD of the paint firm had, an Old English Sheepdog. And so it was like, yeah, great, we'll use my dog to do this. Anyway, and it's just become an iconic thing. So people don't even call them Old English Sheepdogs in the UK. That's why I was interested when you said that. I thought, oh, wow. Because in England, we just call them the Dulux dog and everybody knows what one is. Yes. And they've just launched an advert, which I'm sure you'd be able to see on the internet. That's really cute, actually. It's well done. And it's featuring your dogs. So, check it out.
Yeah, the two we had were characters, and they had a long, good life.
Oh, yeah, no, they are characters, or they're working dogs, so they've got drive and energy, But I mean, how did you manage all the hair? I've got quite unhairy dogs. I just find hair a whole extra level.
The hair, actually, the hair is very similar to human hair. It's not pet hair rather. It doesn't drop like say a German Shepherd would, where they shed, or a Labrador or a Golden Retriever. But you'd have to brush it out of them, which was fine. But they were very good if anybody was allergic to pet hair. The sheepdogs were kind of non-allergenic in comparison to other types of pets.
That's so interesting. I hadn't actually thought of that with them, that they have hair rather than fur, the double coat. Because Labradors, my gosh, they probably are the worst molting breed that you can possibly get because of their thick double coat, designed, so they can swim in cold water. So gosh, but breeds of dogs are brilliant, aren't they?
Oh yes. And they have all these hybrids now, like Labradoodles and ones like that, and they're really nice dogs as well.
Yes, and yeah, absolutely. They're all great dogs. Well, William, I hope the next time we speak, you have been down to your shelter and chosen another dog. Because I don't think you'll be, I think you deep down, you want a dog.
You're right. You make me feel that's something that I should do. You're making me feel guilty.
No, not guilty, but you could give a dog a home. But listen, I've so enjoyed this chat, William. So thank you so much for coming on. All the links to NutriFusion will be in the show notes for anyone interested in getting in touch. I really hope they will.
Perfect. I would be happy to answer anything that comes our way.
Thank you, William. Thank you so much.
Okay, all the best, and thank you for having me.
That's our show, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please rate and review the show wherever you tune into your podcasts. Thanks again to William Grand for joining us today and highlighting the benefits of botanicals and nutraceuticals. And if you're interested in finding out a bit more about Antanol and indeed to NatuRaw, go to my website and hit the Anna Recommends button, and you can redeem your discount codes. And if you haven't already, go on subscribe, because that way you'll never miss another show. See you next week. Bye for now.